What's up, guys, and welcome to another edition of Market Marauders. Being the market, one trade at a time. If you're new to Market Marauders, investment channel helps you find the best deals in the market. That's something you're interested in. Make sure you smash the subscribe button down below, like, comment, and share. Now, today, as you know, it is earnings season, so we're going to go over the earning plays for today. Recap off of yesterday. Yesterday we had earnings from Walmart, Home Depot, and Advanced Auto Parts. Those earnings can be found on the community tab, so if you're interested in looking at those, just go back to the playlist and you can go revisit those earnings and how they came out. So without further ado, let's jump into some of the plays for today. I hope everybody was able to lock in the earnings from Target, because Target actually went, pretty crazy as far as earnings is concerned. So, interested to see if people were able to capitalize on that when that actually happened. But today's earnings that we're going to go over, we have TGT for Target, Lowe's, and NVIDIA, based off of the community tab page for all the earnings. So, jumping to the first one, we have TGT, which had just an amazing day today. Was able to call that one right. On the community tab, I had it as a call, so call was definitely the best one, and whoever was able to capitalize on that probably made quite a bit of profits, because it was very low yesterday on yesterday's stream, but this morning it broke out in pretty good fashion. So hopefully somebody was able to capitalize on that. So its moving average 10 is 153.52. Moving average 50 is $141.41. The moving average 100 is $137.52. And it ended the day today at $154.22. And if we see down here at the bottom, after hours, it rallied up $1.26 to end the day at $155.48. So crazy rally for this one. In general, if you see, it started the day at $136.15 and rallied all the way up to $154.69. So, any call that you had on that, was definitely a good move. And you probably able to capitalize, a lot on that. Going into the earnings that came out today, we could see that second quarter comparable sales grew 24.3%, the strongest the company has ever reported. So basically, it's the strongest earnings the company has ever had this quarter, which is justification for it going up the way that it went up. Store comparable sales increased 10.9%. Digital comparable sales grew 195%, accounting for 13.4% of Target's comparable sales growth. Stores fulfilled more than 90% of Target's second quarter sales. Same-day services, order pickup, drive up, and ship grew 273% and accounted for approximately 6%, 6 percentage points of total company comparable sales growth. The company saw unusually strong market share gains across all 5 of the core merchandise categories. In the first half of the year, company has gained approximately $5 billion in market share. That speaks a lot for how much this company has grown. Second quarter GAAP EPS from continuing operations of $3.35 was 84.4% higher than last year adjusted EPS of $3.38, 85.7% higher than last year. Strong operating performance offset unprecedented investment team member pay and benefits. So they definitely have been, able to capitalize on the pandemic situation. And it's really good to see that the company's earnings and the company as a whole has been able to capitalize on this, situation with the whole pandemic. And, it's also good to see that their earnings are so strong, especially considering, from what I can remember, Target being like one of the first stores that was looted when the whole protest stuff happen, everybody saw that Target was burnt down. But it's good to see, that it doesn't really hurt their earnings. People weren't really boycotting it, I guess. So the store in general actually went up in value. So, kind of counterintuitive to what the media shows on, the effect of one store, being burned. The whole company as a whole, is able to capitalize on this. And it may be some publicity from that to people, saw that company, that store, was struggling. Then people may have bought the shares because of that, or just people just like shopping at Target, either one of those. But it's good to see that their earnings went up and that call was the right option. So going to the second one, we got ticker sign LOW for Lowe's. Lowe's is a home repair company. So they basically sell plumbing stuff, washers and dryers, gardening stuff, wood, a lot of contractor stuff, paint, things of that nature. If you're not familiar with what Lowe's is, their moving average 10 is $158.40. Moving average 50 is $157.45, and the moving average 100 is $156.50. So they ended the day today at $158.28, but after hours they went down 60 cents to end it at $157.68. So let's jump into Lowe's earnings and see how they performed. I would say they're still bullish, denoted by the moving average 10 line has definitely crossed the moving average 50 and the moving average 100 line, which to me denotes a bullish trend, but could be going bearish. But it looks like towards the end of the day that they had a lot of, green momentum moving in a positive direction. So it may, rally up despite having this after hours 60-cent sell-off. So going to Lowe's earnings, we have Lowe's reports second quarter earnings, 2020 sales and earnings results. U.S. comparable sales increased 35.1%. Diluted EPS increased 75% to 3.74. Adjusted diluted EPS increased 74% to $3.75. Lowe's.com sales increased 135%. Company invests $460 million in second quarter to support associates and communities in response to the pandemic. So it's good. It's a nice thing to see that they put that metric into their earnings, because I know a lot of companies have been charitable with their giving, even, giving the pandemic situation. But to see that they were able to give $460 million away, to associates and communities is definitely a good metric to put onto your earnings report, because it just basically shows that the company as a whole cares about the people. So going in here, it says in the second quarter, the company invested $460 million in support of frontline hourly associates, communities, and store safety. Throughout the first half of 2020, Lowe's invested $560 million in pandemic-related financial support for associates and $100 million in community pandemic relief, with focus in minority and rural small businesses and healthcare workers. Additionally, the company's second quarter performance resulted in a record quarter, winning together profit-sharing bonus for hourly associates at 100% of its stores, which totaled $107 million. And then it says for further information, contact that. But that's a nice metric that I think a lot of companies don't talk about, is their giving and how much money they give, especially considering what's going on. They were able to keep their people employed, which is a fantastic thing. The location where I live at didn't close its doors. So all those people were able to keep their jobs, which was a good thing. And I think they got, hazard pay. I know some of the places, the aisles and stuff there had, the protective glass and stuff, and they were able to, keep safety as a high priority at these locations. I know the gardening section at my local Lowe's, they had changed the way that you can enter and exit. And then they had like a little, guided area where you can go. You basically follow the line and keep your distance from there. Also, the company, supports troops, and they have veterans parking, which I think is an amazing thing, and definitely why I put Lowe's as a call for this week and put Home Depot as a put for this week. Because I think, Home Depot is not a bad company, but Lowe's definitely shows you that they care about the community, and that they care about the veterans and basically everyone in general. So, to me, a Lowe's is not going to go to, a city and just take all the business, or take all the money and not do anything for the community. It seems, basically in the financial reports right here, basically states that they are active in helping the community. So that's good to see a company put that in their financial reports, and definitely good value in general for the company. So going into the next one, we got Nvidia, which had its earnings today. Moving average 10 is $488.21. Moving average 50 is $483.53. And the moving average 100 is $467.47. So it ended the day today at $485.54, and went down after hours $10.39. So it's a pretty large move downward after hours. I definitely expected this to go a lot higher, or to continue to go higher. We'll see how it'll perform tomorrow, once market opens. The moving average 10 line is getting really close to the moving average 50 line, which may denote that it's starting to begin a bearish downward trend. But we will see. We'll see how it performs once the market opens. It may be a continuation in the negative, or it may be a reversal to where it goes back to the positive. Going into their earnings, we see record revenue of $3.87 billion, up 50% from the year earlier. Record data center revenue of $1.7 billion, up 167% from a year earlier. Mellanox growth accelerated in its first quarter as part of NVIDIA, contributed 14% of revenue. So to me, those numbers are really good. I don't know what Mellanox technology is. I'm not familiar with that portion of the company, but it seems like overall their metrics were pretty good. And I definitely expect them to have a reversal, because their earnings are really good. I would compare them to a company like AMD. AMD definitely went up quite a bit. Its continuation second day afterwards was pretty good after their earnings came out. But we'll see how NVIDIA performs in the weeks coming up, and how they perform long term. I think they have a lot of potential to grow. They're doing a lot of things, definitely have positive looks, even though the stock looks the opposite. So let's go into some other ones. Let's talk about Tesla today. So Tesla was still up today, still bearish in my opinion, but just ran sideways quite a bit for most of the day. Its moving average 10 is $1,893.82. Moving average 50 is $1,811.48. And moving average 100 is $1,657.44. And it ended today at $1,878.53. But after hours went down $7.53 to end after hours at $1,871 even. So still bullish in my opinion. Still rallying, even though it goes down. If we look, it basically does this like every day. It'll go up, it'll go sideways, it'll go up early in the morning, it'll go sideways, goes up early in the morning, goes sideways, goes up early in the morning, goes sideways. But if we look at the two right here, it went all the way up to $1,923, then went sideways, and the dip going down was not as dramatic as beforehand. So it may be a point where it's leveling off. We may see, it may have hit a resistance at this $1,923 price, or it may break out again. The stock just performs in irregular ways, in my opinion, and seems to be on another sideways trend. Maybe tomorrow it'll go down, as the morning begins, and then go back up. But we will see. So, went down. If we look right here, it went down late afternoon, went down, then went up a little bit, ran sideways. So it may do the same or similar pattern tomorrow. But overall, still bullish. I think people are still buying in anticipation of the split. Seems to be volume is pretty high. And from here, a lot of mixed feelings about whether to buy or whether to sell, but it seems to be mixed on both the two. So, it seems to be half people buying, half people selling, which to me it definitely follows this trend of it going sideways. So you got people buying, people selling, the same amount of people who are buying, the same amount of people who are selling, which will make the stock go sideways. So going into Apple, Apple did run up a little bit today. I saw it run up. Apple, I was actually watching. And if you haven't been following the news, Apple today has just became the first $2 trillion company. So yay for Apple in that. Tim Cook, like I said yesterday, has done a fantastic job with Apple since the passing of Steve Jobs. I think Apple as a whole has a tremendous future ahead of it. A lot of innovations coming out of Apple. Like Apple, Car, or the updates to the iPad, and the different chipsets that they're making themselves instead of using Intel. A lot of innovation coming out of Apple, OS 14 as well. So I think Apple definitely has a very bright future ahead of it, especially under the leadership of Tim Cook. So definitely looking forward to see what's in store for them. As far as the stock performing, its moving average 10 is $466.22. Moving average 50 is $460.97. Moving average 100 is $456.26. It ended the day at $462.83. After hours was $462.34. So it went down 49 cents after hours. So, yep, I definitely think, Tim Cook is leading them in the right direction. I think, the stock is going to rally closer, or rally even more, getting closer to the split. And I think, if it doesn't go up immediately after the split, I think with the release of the new iPhone, it definitely will go up. So if you're able to lock in those shares before the split, I think you'll definitely benefit off of having that locked in before the split happens. So I know myself, I bought 8 shares. I'm just going to hold on to that, not trying to go too crazy with the amount of shares that I have, because that's my day trading portfolio. It's not my long-term portfolio. So in my long-term portfolio, I have more shares, but my day trade portfolio, basically the way I'm going to trade it, as well as Tesla, is I have 2 shares of Tesla. I got 8 shares of Apple. And for my 2 shares of Tesla, I'm basically going to wait for it to split. And then I'm going to see how it performs after that. For Tesla, we still have Battery Day coming up, which could make the stock shoot up, and possible S&P 500 inclusion, which could also make the stock shoot up. For Apple, we're waiting on the new iPhone release, which could possibly be the first 5G iPhone, which, other stocks are going to benefit from that, not just, Apple. So you got to look at companies like Foxconn, you got to look at companies like Qualcomm. So those companies also will benefit from the Apple release of the new phone. So Qualcomm makes the 5G antennas that are going to be in the Apple iPhone, the new one. So look forward to that. And it's kind of a speculative play to look at those going up if you don't want to directly put calls or options, or buy stocks for growth. Either way to play that, other companies will benefit from that. Likewise with Tesla, once Tesla announces, their battery day, I think all EVs in general are going to go up. It seems to be a trend where whenever Tesla announces news, like when they announced their 5-to-1 split, Nikola went up, NIO went up, and other EV companies as well went up. It seemed to be a positive rally for all EVs whenever Tesla has any positive news. So, that's a way you can play any Tesla news that comes out, or you can just play Tesla itself. That's also an option. Like, Neo and Nikola. Today, Neo went down a little bit. It kind of ran sideways. It was kind of like a lull of a day for Neo overall. Its moving average 10 is 14.13. Moving average 50 is $13.82. Moving average 100 is $13.63. And it ended the day at $14.06, and then went down 3 cents after hours. So just a sideways day for Neo overall. For Nikola, it was kind of all over the place. I will say that they are definitely bearish. They have been bullish for quite a while. That was on the hype from the call that Trevor Milton had said that he was in talks with Hyundai about making hydrogen vehicles. Now that was just a rumor, but if you're familiar with trading stocks, people buy the rumor and sell the news. So if you're going under that metric, whenever news of that magnitude comes out, the stock's always going to shoot up. So that's one way you could play that. But concrete news that it's going to come out is Nikola World, which I think is December 3rd through December 5th. So Nikola World is where they're going to release the Badger. They're going to hopefully have a functional vehicle that you can see the inside of, not just a render. There have been videos of the vehicle on Trevor Milton's Twitter, which seems to be a real vehicle and not the render, but not any performance analysis of it being driven or metrics of that nature, it pulling anything or the inside dash. There's been no real vehicle review, in my opinion, of it. Just renders and just a non-render video of the outside. So whenever Nikola World, they debut that, I definitely see the stock going up. Also, with Tesla releasing their news as well, I see Nikola going up as well, just because of the whole, EV trend. When one EV goes up, or when Nikola goes up, the rest of the EVs go up. That weird pattern that goes on with that. So, if you're looking at Nikola long term, I would definitely look at Nikola World in December and base your target price around that. Now, just because it's in the 40s doesn't mean it doesn't have potential to run up even higher. The stock has been a lot higher than the 40s. If we go back here, the stock actually went up to $93. Where's that at? Yeah, to $93 way back when. So just bear that in mind. It does have potential to run up. So just because it's at the levels that it is now, doesn't mean it will stay at those levels. It does have the potential to run up quite a bit, and something like Nikola World, could make it run up back to those levels. But also bear in mind that it falls just as quickly as it runs up. So I don't think Nikola World is priced in at the current moment based off the stock price, because it IPO'd around $20, and it's only $20 above the IPO price. So, it didn't shoot up. A good metric to look at is probably, in my opinion, go up around $70 to $75. Once Nikola World comes out, it's a more realistic price of the stock, and then it may possibly go down. Or I could be completely wrong, and it can go all the way up past $70, and go all the way back up to $90 after Nikola World. Either or, Nikola World is definitely going to be, a make it or break it, in my opinion, for the company. And, interested to see that just as much as I'm interested to see Battery Day from Tesla. Now, going into AMD, I have AMD on here because I believed AMD performed the same way that, or I believe that, what you call it, that that Nvidia could perform the same way as AMD. But if we see that's not the case, because AMD had a continuation where it ran up and Nvidia did not after its earnings. So looking to see Nvidia, turn around after that. But if it doesn't, it's okay because it's speculation. So if we look at the long-term chart on here, it just continued to go up and just go up and go up, where it got to like 87.29, and then it's still in the 80s after that. But it did have this run up right after earnings, where we see it was at 67.45, then it ran up, then it had another day, which I'm calling the continuation, where it went up even more. Okay, so it says, what do I think about plug power? So let's type in plug. I've done a couple of videos about plug power in the past, and I think they had a hydrogen vehicle that they were building, but it was like a truck. So let me zoom out of this chart, and I'll give you my synopsis of them. So they have been doing pretty well in the past. If we look on here, they are bullish, and their run-up has been pretty bullish. Their moving average 10 is $13.84. Moving average 50 is $12.52. The moving average 100 is $11.95. And they ended the day at $13.65. After hours went up 16 cents. I think plug power definitely has the potential to run up even more, just by the stuff they're doing. I know they're in the hydrogen space as well, not as actively as a company like Nikola, but plug power definitely has a potential to run up. For me, I would look at plug power as a long-term pick. I wouldn't look at it as something to quickly turn around for day trade, just because in my opinion plug power moves very slowly. Not because its volume is low, just because, in my opinion, in the stock in the past, it doesn't move as fast as the rest of the stocks. So, I would get into it and just hold it for a while, me personally. But, if you look at the press releases on stuff they're doing, they're definitely in the hydrogen world, which, as you know, is kind of this niche market that you see whole companies are being built around, as in like Nikola. So yeah, I think it's a good play long term, and I think if they can continue to produce and their numbers are good earnings wise, it definitely could go up even more, because $13.65 or $13.81 where it ended is not that expensive compared to what they do. And if you see a company like Nikola and what they do, considering they don't produce any products and they're that price, definitely Plug, who does produce products and has profits, definitely has potential to go up even more, because this is lower than the price that Nikola IPO'd. Now you may be saying, why am I comparing Plug Power to Nikola? Because they're both in hydrogen. Not that they do the same thing in hydrogen, but they both are hydrogen companies. So I would compare them in the hydrogen niche, as they definitely have potential to go up higher based on where they currently are at. So I hope that answered your question. Kind of a long way around that on the question. I have owned Plug Power in the past, but I traded it once it went up after its last earnings, and I didn't hold on to it. I should have held on to it, but I was looking at it for day trading. I wasn't looking at it for, long-term value play. So for long-term value play, I think it'll probably be a good one to hold on to. But for day trading, I wouldn't recommend, just because it moves very slowly. So going into Oracle. So Oracle's another one on my watch list. Oracle's on my watch list because they announced that they are trying to acquire TikTok. Just like Microsoft is trying to acquire TikTok, the U.S. division of TikTok. So that's why I'm watching them, to see how they perform and see how that news is affecting the company. Has affected it positively. When the news first came out, the stock jumped from $53.66 all the way to $56.92. So it was a dramatic, increase based on that news that came out, and it's been, very bullish ever since. Not dramatically bullish, but the moving average 10 line definitely did cross the moving average 50 and the moving average 100, and volume definitely increased as well. If you look on here, the VWAP 14 line shot up like crazy, and it's still been up pretty high. So I would definitely denote that as being bullish. VWAP 14 line definitely is a good metric to look at, especially when trying to see if something is bullish or bearish, and volume is always good to have when trying to trade a stock. Volume helps you get in and out of trades very quickly. That's why it's hard to trade a lot of penny stocks, because they may have a lot of volume one day, but if you hold on to it, for too long, there may not be people who are interested in it anymore, and you may be stuck with those shares. Now, that has happened to me before in Robinhood, where I've been stuck with shares that I can't sell, even though the price may be going up. For some reason, they just do not execute, because you may have too many shares. So like somebody may be getting, shares. You may go all in and get $1,000 worth of, 15-cent or 20-cent shares, but people may be like, they just want a little bit. They don't want to go all in. So, just bear that in mind. If you're going with penny stocks, maybe a little more reckless than actual established companies. Nothing wrong with penny stocks, but you don't want to get stuck with those shares. So make sure the volume is always high when looking at stocks, and that should mitigate that. But going back into Oracle, what we have on here, Oracle is definitely one that I'm looking at, and I think, they're going to continue to go up. The deal is supposed to be for Microsoft. They said the deal was supposed to be made around September, I think September 15th or around that date, for them to execute that deal for the acquisition of TikTok, or at least that's the date that Microsoft had. So I would assume if, Oracle is in the play, they would have that same date as well, as, having to execute that contract. So, Trump said he endorses Oracle into buying TikTok. So I don't know if that gives them leverage over Microsoft, but I know that was one of the news articles that I read that said Trump endorses, Oracle for buying TikTok. So I don't know if that gives them an advantage over Microsoft, or if there's going to be a Microsoft Oracle deal where, they go 50-50 or something like that. Oracle basically is using it for the data acquisition portion. I think Microsoft is trying to acquire it for, expanding their business as a whole. I know, they have the Xbox system, which could help or be used. They could promote a lot of their games or their system on, just flooding ads into TikTok. But, who knows the future of TikTok and how it will work. Going to the next one, we got ticker sign BABA for Alibaba. If you're not familiar with Alibaba, Alibaba is a e-commerce business. It's basically like the Amazon of China. A lot of drop shippers use Alibaba, and basically you get a lot of products there for cheap because they are based in China. So going to Alibaba, they have our earnings tomorrow, so I'll be giving you the update on the earnings tomorrow. It's actually going to be before market opens, because I think 7 p.m. China is 6:30 p.m. on the Eastern Coast. So, definitely going to have the earnings before market. Looked like it rallied a little bit before, after close, which to me denotes that, the whole market is bullish on this stock. And the moving average 10 on them is $260.22. The moving average 50 is $257.15. Moving average 100 is $254.63. They ended today at 260.59, but after hours went up 40 more cents to end at 260.99. So pretty good metrics as far as that's concerned. And they are bullish, denoted by when the moving average 10 line crossed the moving average 50 and the moving average 100 line. That denoted a breakout when that convergence happened, and they continued to go up. That happened around the price of $254.51. Then they broke out, and now they're at $260.99. Now tomorrow is their earnings. I definitely will go over them. I think, in my personal opinion, that they're going to do very well. I've read a lot of articles about the recovery in China after the pandemic situation. It seems to be they have things under wraps, under control. They're slowly opening things back up, just like the U.S. is. The only problem and the only red flag that I have with this company is Trump is saying that he is trying to mandate, American-made products sold in America, bought by Americans, and that rhetoric that he has may turn people off to buying Alibaba. So nothing official has come out about regulations against Alibaba as far as trading, but it's definitely something to keep on your radar when looking at Alibaba for long term, or looking at Alibaba for holding the stock for long term. There may be some regulations that come in that make this stock less profitable than what it is, because of the whole buy American from America sort of thing. But we will see. I think there are bigger issues that he's tackling at the current moment, other than this, more like his race and I mean race is in like candidate race for presidency. So maybe the focus will be more off of this company itself. Going to the next one that we have tomorrow for earnings, we have ROST for Ross. Ross is a discount clothing store where you can buy name brand clothes for designer for low prices. They do not have a Ross where I'm at, but the city that I used to live in, they had one. And I think Ross, has a lot to offer as far as clothes is concerned. It seems like Ross had a pretty big sell-off today, but that does not directly denote that it's going to be, bearish tomorrow. Because if we look at Target was the same way. It sold off right before earnings, and then after their earnings came out, it shot up like crazy. So it may be the same thing with Ross, is that people are expecting it to be bad, but the whole retail sector, in my opinion, is flourishing earnings-wise, fueled by the stimulus, the Donnie dollars that were pumped into the economy. The Fed pumped out all that money, and people went and bought clothes. They went and bought, necessities, but the retail industry definitely benefited off of all of that money that came out. So Ross may have the same sort of metric. It may be people sold off in anticipation of a really bad earnings, but then their earnings, turn out to be really good. So I would say this is definitely going to be an early morning one to catch, early morning play to watch. So Target early morning was still low. It was still bearish, but it started to have a small breakout, and then it just completely broke out, towards the end of the day. So it may be the same deal with Ross. For Ross, I have it as a call on the community tab, just like I have Alibaba as a call on the community tab, and I wholeheartedly believe that both of them, will break out tomorrow with their earnings. Now, I don't know if Ross's earnings is before before the market bell or after, but I do believe that their earnings is going to be a lot better than what people are expecting. So keep your eyes out on that one for tomorrow. And then just going to run through the ones from today that earnings came yesterday. So we have Target, we got Lowe's, Nvidia. Those all had earnings today. And then Tesla and Apple, which are ones that we always watch. Tesla waiting for the split, the 5-to-1 split that's going to take place. I think Friday is the day for record, just like Apple. So essentially, next week you're going to have five shares of Tesla for every one share that you own by Friday. And for Apple, you'll have 4 shares of Apple for every one share that you own before Friday's record date. So look forward to that. And still a lot of updates coming from both companies on products that they have coming out, as well as continuation of their good financial results. So Neo and Nikola, in the EV world, Nikola with Nikola World, December, I think, 3rd through 4th. Neo, just in general, looking for them to give more updates on their sales of cars. I know that they had a really good earnings. They delivered a lot more cars than people expected, but the company as a whole, I think has some more ground to make in the EV world. AMD had a pretty good earnings, and they had a really good continuation. Oracle, TikTok news, and then Alibaba, Ross, and Plug down here, which I was asked to go over. Still think it's a pretty good play. I would say it's a pretty good play, and definitely one to look at. And then Ross and Alibaba for tomorrow. So tomorrow, at the same time, I'll be back with Ross and Alibaba. I'll go over sign mark. So then I'll pull up AMC as well. So let me zoom out on this one. That's the wrong way. So it looked like today they had some pretty good volume. Even though they are still bearish, volume-wise, it still looks like that was pretty good. Moving average 10 on them is $11.12. Moving average 50 on them is $11.94. Moving average 100 is $11.80. And they ended the day at $11.15, and then after hours went up 3 cents. Still would like to see them go back up. It looks like they do have potential to go up. I do like to read a lot of articles, so I'd have to read back in to see what happened around this date before the 12th and the 13th, which caused them to spike up, because that similar news is what will cause them to go up again after they have gone down. Now I'll compare them to AMC. AMC is basically, gone up. I know what's going on with these charts. Has gone up, but it ran sideways. So it was bullish for a while when they talked about opening back up. And, it's definitely going to be, something to look at. Side mark, send up mark, I hope I'm saying that right, is the same way, in my opinion. But, there's some things that I think that they have to do, with their whole trials and how they're combating the pandemic situation, and how that actually works. I think people are definitely concerned with safety regarding both companies, and, how they're controlling infections. But I definitely think I would say I'm bullish on both, because if they can open back up, then that gives other companies like the other theater companies rights to open back up. So the entertainment industry as a whole, I think, is thriving. I think that they're coming back to life. Some other ones that I would say you could look at are like American Airlines, that was up today. Carnival Cruises was up today. I don't remember if they ended up, but I know they were green when I looked at them. Uh, Southwest was up for a while. So let's look at American Airlines. Was up today. So they had a spike today that I had saw that in the beginning of the day they spiked up. They had started off the day at $12.56, and they spiked up all the way up to $13.43. So it looks like they'll probably have a repeat tomorrow. It fell off after that spike. It was a very dramatic spike. But if you look towards the end of the day, there's some huge orders that came through. Like this one's like 10K, 29K, 19K, 7K, 2K, 7K. So huge orders came in towards the end of the day for American Airlines. So I expect to see a similar breakout from yesterday. From today, that happened tomorrow. So if we see they went down to 12.51, spiked all the way up to 13.44. I think if you're able to get into this stock, early tomorrow morning, you may be able to get it before it breaks out. It was only bullish for a few minutes, like an hour, being bullish, shown by the moving average 50 line, the moving average 100 line. But if you see right here with this breakout, if you follow the VWAP 14 line, you can see that the volume dramatically increased. If I would have saw this start to happen, even going to the 1 minute chart, the 1 minute chart is a little more dramatic than the other charts. But if I wanted to start to see the 1 minute chart of this start to go up and continue to go up, then I would have jumped on it as well, and probably been able to lock in some profits with that. The same with Carnival Cruise. Carnival Cruise seemed to be doing well today as well, but they have been following the similar pattern to the other company. So going back from them, it shows that they are still bearish, but they have recently had a breakout. So they had a breakout yesterday where it was at 14.25 and went all the way up to 15.17, ran sideways and then went down. The 1 minute chart gives you a lot of good information, so you may have been able to ride this wave up, especially if you're following the VWAP 14 line and seeing the volume start to steadily increase. You could have possibly locked in profits for this one and then got out once you start to see that this line was starting to go below the moving average 50 line. So that's how I would have played it. I definitely would have had, if I was trading it real time, I definitely would have had the 1 minute chart up and possibly the 5 minute chart up side by side to see what was really going on. Because it's good to get a big picture and a little picture of what's going on with the stock. The last one on here, ticker sign LUV for Southwest. We can see that they ended the day a little bit bullish overall. Company-wide, I think they're still bearish. Done it on here, but they also had a breakout as well. And this breakout was a day ago. So yesterday, beginning of this morning today, they had a breakout. So when I saw it, I saw, Southwest had a breakout, American Airlines had a breakout, Carnival Cruise had a breakout. Just those industries in general have began to break out. Now, will they have a breakout again? I don't know, but looking from, how many people are buying the shares, it could possibly happen again tomorrow. but they went up from $34.08 all the way up to $35.78. So a nice little breakout from that one. VWAP line is still pretty high, which means that volume remained very high for most of the day. And volume seems to be really high for the day as well on this one. If we see towards the end of the day for the moving average, from the 1 minute chart, we can see that it's starting to set up to be a swing, which a swing to me is just it's starting to curl up and go positive in the positive direction. So you could possibly see early morning action since there was so much volume after hours in the positive. Despite this 24-cent going down, you could possibly see this moving average 10 line go across this moving average 50 line, which will be the beginning of a bullish trend, and then it could break through this moving average 100 line, which will be the confirmation of that bullish trend. So I would definitely keep your eyes out on Southwest tomorrow. Keep your eyes out on Carnival Cruise tomorrow, American Airlines, CNK. It seems like you already have your eyes set on that one, but also look at AMC as well, and all the service industry stocks. Service industry stocks seem to be going back up. It also seems to be people are moving money out of the Nvidias and the, Apples and Teslas of the world and putting a little bit of their profits into the Targets, the Lowe's, and, the service industry. So industry-wide, I think retail and service industry are definitely getting a lot of money put into them. Seems to be a transfer of wealth. So to me, going from technology, I think a lot of people are, taking their profits from the tech boom and putting them into the service industry stocks and putting them into the retail stocks. So that's just a trading strategy to look at. Not saying you have to buy any of those, just saying there's some to look at. So, if there are any other ones, make sure you drop them down in the comment section. I will try to go over those, and I will look at the comment section and try to go over those before I start the live stream, so that I can give some more background information on those. Because just looking at the charts, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell. But if you have the actual, facts of what's going on, it's a lot easier to denote the moves that are being made for that. So I hope that answered your question. I will look at, service industry, airlines, restaurant stocks. I would also look at stocks in the retail space. So if we see here Target, possibly Walmart. Walmart's been, volume-wise going, a little sideways. But Walmart, Target, Ross will hopefully turn around tomorrow. And then, tomorrow the earnings for Alibaba as well, which is, a similar company to Amazon, but the China version of that. So look at those. So vaccine and therapeutic companies, some to keep your eyes out on for that. S&E has definitely been doing, what is it? It's SRNE. Yeah, Sorrento Therapeutics is definitely one that crosses my mind. And then my number one and number two that I look at is Moderna and INO. So just go over my analysis of these. Sorrento Therapeutics has been, one of those that I've seen a lot of people talk about, that it's being, very bullish. If we look on here, it is bullish. Its moving average 10 line is above the moving average the moving average 50 and the moving average 100 line. So it is bullish, but Let me go to the 15-minute chart. But if we look at other metrics, it is bearish. So it is bearish on its 30-minute chart, but bullish on its 1-minute chart. So definitely one to look at. I don't really know what they have going on company-wide with them, but I know, a lot of trading people in the trading community have been talking about this one and definitely play off of its volatility. But what I can speak on vaccine-wise is Moderna. Moderna has been put on Operation Warp Speed, which, if you're not familiar with that, it's the U.S.'s basically list of companies that they back. They give a lot of money to help find a cure. Trump has been very adamant about buying American vaccines from American manufacturers, and Moderna is one of those companies that fits the bill. They're on the Operation Warp Speed, which means they've gotten a lot of funding from the U.S. government to come up with the vaccine. So the more money you have, the better chance you have to find a vaccine. So basically just waiting for that to happen and waiting for that to break out. From that, going into INO, INO has a lot of money from private firms. When I first saw INO, they had a lot of money given to them from Bill and Melinda Gates. So that kind of caught my attention. I think their Melinda and Bill Gates fund gave them $10 million. Then they got money from the Department of Health. I think it was like $2 billion. And they got like another $7 million from the Department of Defense. So they've been, having a lot of funding to develop products. One of the products they developed was this battery handheld device that administers the vaccine. So I would look into that as far as development is concerned, but a lot of backing from other industries for that. Also, I would say look at other companies that do like testing. I know OPK is one of the companies that does testing, and they have a contract with the NBA to be their main testing provider. So everyone who gets tested in the NBA, as you know, the National Basketball Association has started to resume games again, and OPK Health is the company that tests all of the athletes. So there are a lot of tests that's going on, and as the playoffs continue, there'll be even more tests that are going to be going on because they have to test all the employees. They got to test the trainers. They got to test the water boys. They got to test the athletes themselves, the sportscasters. Even though they're playing in a bubble, I think they're being tested regularly. So look at OPK Health. Definitely think it's potential to break out. Another company, testing wise to look at that everybody's been talking about for a while, but has not really been doing much, is Express Spa. If you're not familiar with this company, Express Spa is a company that it was, Express Spas, and like you could go to the airport and get a massage, but instead of doing massages, they're converting their facilities to testing centers. So you can go to the airport and get a test or get tested to see if you have the Rona. But I would definitely look into this company. Anytime they give an update, the stock seems to go up. So, don't be alarmed if you see it down this low. When they give updates about, the progress of the company, it shoots up. And it seems to be one that people day trade a lot. So, I would say look for news from them and try to be early on the news from them. I think it's a very good thing that they're doing, converting all their facilities to testing facilities. I think it's pretty cool. But, definitely I would say look at that one. for long term. Well, if there are any other ones that you want to look at, make sure you drop it in the comment section down below. Run through the list one more time. So we got Target and Lowe's, Nvidia, Tesla, Apple, Neo, Nikola, AMD, Oracle, Alibaba, Ross. We got Plug Power, Cinemark, AMC, AAL for American Airlines, Carnival Cruise, Southwest, Sorrento Therapeutics, Moderna, INO, OPK, O Health, and Express Spa. So going through the small synopsis of these as well. Target, on the community tab on my page, I said that they will probably go up. Had them down as a call. So I would say, just look at them. Lowe's, I would say look at them as well. I'm not familiar with GAN. Let me look up GAN. Yeah, I'm not familiar with this company at all. So, yeah, what's some background information on them? What do they do that caused this spike in the company? I'm not familiar with this company, so all I can say is that they're bearish. They're bullish, and have been bullish for quite a while, but I don't know what the company does. Yeah, Sam. So I'll talk about Helion. So I do have Helion, a video describing Helion, but I will talk about Helion. So Helion basically makes Class 8 trucks. So Class 8 trucks are like the 18-wheeler trucks that you see on the road. They have had their breakout recently because the Shell Tortoise acquisition company will become Helion. So once they become Helion and that merger is complete, it'll be similar to VTIQ's merger with Nikola, and then they will take on the ticker sign. I think they're changing their ticker sign to HYLN for Helion. So, once that happens, then they will be a competitor with Tesla and Nikola. So you'll have basically Helion, Nikola, and Tesla all in basically the 18-wheeler truck space. But Helion, in my opinion, is the most, readily available one because it doesn't involve building a new truck. You're basically just going to be putting existing components to retrofit a truck. So, it's kind of like a snap-on system to existing trucks. So to me, it's going to be the easiest one to adapt to what semis are doing now. So they're not really making any special trucks for them. It's like helping the existing truck system become better, if that makes sense. But yeah, I'll definitely keep your eyes on that one. I don't know if the merger has happened yet, but I'll definitely look into that. I know the video I made was, kind of dated, because it had caught my eye when it first came out. But metric-wise, I think that they have a more solid product than Nikola does, because Nikola doesn't really have a product to me that you can use, and they don't plan on selling their trucks. So, Nikola's standpoint is they're going to sell you the hydrogen fuel that you'll use, and they'll lease you the truck, but they're not going to sell the truck for you to use. So it's kind of like, you'll pay per mile for the truck and you'll pay for the fuel itself, which, to me is a very interesting business model to not sell your trucks. Now, I don't know if Tesla is selling their trucks or not. I think they are selling them and not leasing them, which would make them, a lot better overall, in my opinion, as far as, truck production is concerned. And, I don't know range-wise what the difference is between the Nikola trucks and the Tesla trucks are. So Tesla, to me, hasn't really been focusing too heavily on their truck production. I know they have developments on it, but looking at old videos from when Trevor Milton was talking about his Nikola trucks, they were talking about outsourcing a lot of the stuff. So they outsourced the fuel cells, the what is it? I think they had their gear system was from Bosch. And they don't have autopilot on there on their trucks, but there's a lot of speculative things going on with their trucks, and it seems like it's just a combination of a lot of different things. When compared to Tesla tries to do a lot of things in-house and perfect them for themselves, and then later on turn around and give them out. But it seemed to be, for Nikola, it was the opposite. They don't really do much in-house, but then, we'll try to sell the truck or lease the truck in this situation. So I would definitely put, Tesla above Nikola. But then when it comes to Helion, I would definitely put Helion above Nikola. So if you look at Nikola's price, Nikola ended the day at $42.53. But, from just an overall, point of view of trucks, I think, Helion was the better choice in trucks compared to Nikola. Even though Nikola has more publicity, they're doing groundbreaking of their facilities and stuff like that. Go and look at the technology behind Helion, and I think you would agree, or anyone watching would agree, that their technology is a little bit better than Nikola, and their business model is a lot better than Nikola. Nikola to me just seems to be about money and obtaining money, and not about innovation, which to me, innovation in this sense is key. So the better you innovate, in my opinion, the more money you make as a company. And that's why I think Tesla is number one in that category, because their sole focus is innovation and not just, capital gains. But anyway, I hope this video helped you all. I'll be back here tomorrow to go over the plays for tomorrow. Remember, we have Alibaba, who has its earnings in the morning. Before market, Ross, which I think is tomorrow afternoon. Ross, I have as a call. Alibaba, I have as a call as well. Looking for both of those to go up. Definitely Alibaba. Concerns on Alibaba would be, look at how President Trump is treating, Alibaba as far as the way they treat TikTok. He is very adamant about the U.S. only situation. And Target, hope everybody was able to lock in profits on Target. Today had them as a call. They definitely went up quite a bit. Yesterday's video, they were at 137. They shot up all the way to 154. So I hope everybody was able to execute on those. Lowe's had a very good earning as well. Nvidia, has gone sideways, but looking for that to turn around. Possible continuation like AMD. Tesla has gone sideways as well, but it's just performing the way it usually does. It goes up early in the morning, runs sideways, goes up early in the morning, runs sideways. So it looks to be at this standpoint where it's at now. It has began to level off. Remember, for Tesla, we still have possible S&P 500 inclusions coming up. The split, which will be recorded on Friday and debuted on Monday, which is the 5-to-1 split. For every one share you have, you'll have 5 shares after the split. And then also Battery Day, which is September 15th. So going into Apple, we do have Apple that we're looking at. They have their 4-to-1 split, which we're going to be looking at. Looking forward to for that. And also the debut of their new iPhone, Neo. Looking to see more updates from them in the future. Nikola with Nikola World in December. I think it's 3rd through 5th. So look forward to Nikola World and, how they're going to perform. I would advise everyone to go on Twitter and look at Trevor Milton's page. He has a video of the Badger. Now, it's not actually moving or driving, but it is a video of the actual physical truck itself and not just a render. So progress as far as that's concerned. Definitely interested to see the metrics and the specs for the vehicle itself and to see it actually performing. I know everybody was impressed when Tesla came out with their Cybertruck, and it was basically pulling the Ford F-150, so that was interesting. Hopefully they have a similar setup at Nikola World for, the Badger versus, everyday trucks. I know they're not going to be able to do Badger versus Cybertruck because it is currently, I think, in the Los Angeles Museum. But looking at AMD, looking for that to continue to go back up, to be bullish again. A lot of things surrounding that. Also on your list, Oracle. Oracle said that they are possibly trying to acquire TikTok. If you don't know what TikTok is, it is a social media service where people, can make small 15-second videos. Sort of like the Facebook Reels that just came out, but TikTok came out before then. And they're trying to acquire the American side of it for data acquisition purposes, in my opinion. So look, put that on your radar to look at. Alibaba, put that on your radar to look at. Earnings tomorrow. Ross, earnings tomorrow. Plug Power, which seems to have, its breakout. It's continuing to go up, be bullish. Look at the left-hand side. A lot of orders came through. A couple of big orders came through, towards the end of the afternoon. Signmark, look at that as well. Looking to see this actually turn around. Volume seemed to be really high. A huge order came in towards the end of the day. So looking to see this moving average 10 line actually go up and be above the moving average 50 and the moving average 100 line. So I'm looking for that for tomorrow. AMC, looking for that to go up. Not expecting it to go up too much, in my opinion, but definitely looking for it to go up. Because they're opening up their theaters, and it's going to be, pretty revolutionary to see how they're actually able to keep safety first and spread out their theaters, which I think will be, definitely something that all other theaters can follow suit in, and basically, a test run to see how people will be able to go. So they are starting with their tickets being at 15 cents. So if you want to catch a movie for cheap, I would say definitely go to AMC because you can catch those movies for dirt cheap. 15 cents a ticket, to me seems like you're going to have trouble keeping people out of the theater. And then for the whole service sector, just going up in general, you've got American Airlines, who had a pretty good day today. Carnival Cruise had a pretty good day today. Southwest Airlines had a pretty good day today, so they all had breakouts today. And I would definitely, keep your eyes out on them for tomorrow for a potential breakout part 2. Sorrento Therapeutics, keep them on your radar as well. Moderna, which I always have on my radar because they got so much funding from Bill and Melinda Gates, the DoD, and the United States Department of Health. So I think it's any day on them for them to break out. They're like one press release away for that. Inovio, same thing. They got a bunch of funding from them, from the United States Department of Health. Moderna actually is on Operation Warp Speed, so, definitely funding coming from that. And then towards the end of the list, we got OPKO, which I always have on my list. Looks like today they went a little bit bullish, so they began a bullish uptrend. We don't have the data on the side to see how many people bought. It looks like it kind of sold off towards the end of the day though, but I would say bullish. If you're not familiar with them, they do testing. So they actually test. Let me go. Let's not change. Okay. So they actually do testing. So they actually do. Why does this change this one? Anyway, they actually do testing for the NBA. So every time an NBA game is held, they'll be the people who do the testing for it. So just bear in mind that, as games continue to go towards the playoff, I think testing is going to continue. So look forward to them as far as, profits for them going up because they're supplying tests for the whole NBA. So going to Express Spa, looking at them, they are still bearish in my opinion, but overall, I think their business model is pretty good. And if people, if they continue to convert more facilities, you could see a breakout from them at any time. So drop a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. If you want to sign up for Webull, get 2 free shares when you deposit $100. I have a link for that below. If you want to sign up for Robinhood, I got a link for that too. Also got some merch in the community tab and the description down below. So check out that merch. And I'll be back tomorrow to go over the plays. So come and check that out. Hope everybody has a good day trading tomorrow. I'll be back with you to talk about Alibaba and Ross. Hope everybody locks in those profits. See you guys next time.